Hello everyone, this is Emily speaking from Couch English, channel dedicated to practical business English and business knowledge as well. As most of you, I can imagine, of course, know already, what I do professionally is not only related to business English, but I'm also the human resources person, and I work as a business trainer as well. That's why quite often, if you follow our website and if you follow our YouTube channel, you can find there different kind of the content related not only to business English, but of course everything what is connected with my profession. That's why today the topic that I would like to share with you is related to something what I really appreciate, because the topic is going to be also related to the power of appreciation, to the power of recognition. To some extent, I guess I would even say that it is one of my pet topics. And why? Well, the thing is that I really believe that as human beings, we simply need to be appreciated. We need to be appreciated by the other people, by our peers, by our managers, by leaders. But generally, we need that kind of the appreciation coming to us from different kind of the people, and it is something really significant to us, and it gives us a lot of really very positive feelings and emotions. Although from the very beginning, I would mark one extremely essential thing to me, because I believe that not only we need appreciation from the other people, but the most important, the most significant type of the appreciation is the one that we share with ourselves. And I have that kind of the feeling that it's a bit similar, like with love, that if I love somebody, I would say that first of all, I have to love myself, because only if I love myself, I can love the other people. And the same for me is with the appreciation. I can appreciate other people, but still the most important person to be appreciated, well, that's of course me. I don't want to say that you have to appreciate me. It's rather about having that kind of self-appreciation in ourselves, because then we are aware in what kind of the aspects, in what kind of the areas we are really good, we have strong points, we feel our potential, and then if we're able to appreciate it in ourselves, it's also easier to appreciate the others. I mean, I should rather maybe say it should be easier to appreciate others, because to some extent it also depends on our self-esteem, on our self-worth, on our self-confidence, and of course it might happen that it will be a bit easier for us to appreciate the other people, and at the same time it might be a bit challenging and a bit difficult to appreciate ourselves. Although that's a bit sad that it might happen like that, and that's why I would wish everybody to be really concentrated on self-appreciation, but of course also on the appreciation of others. And to follow the topic of appreciation, I guess that due to the fact that I would like to relate to 5 languages of appreciation to show to you that, in fact, depending on our needs, depending on our personality, depending on our behaviors, and probably also depending on our experiences, it might happen that we have different kind of the self languages, different kind of the languages, different kind of the qualities, um, how we define appreciation. And it might really happen that one person is going to appreciate me and is going to appreciate the other person, but I'm going to treat it as something like really extremely important to me, and exactly the same type of the message the other person is going to ignore maybe a little bit. And it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with me or the second person. It's rather about the fact that it might occur that we have different languages of appreciation. So we, of course, both probably expect to some extent appreciation given by the other people, but in a little bit different form. So the need is the same, appreciation, but the way or the strategy how this need can be satisfied, it might be a bit different. So to move on a little bit to those different languages of appreciation, I guess I would start with a little bit of self-reflection. So if you could have a look at the example that you can see probably right now following the presentation. So please imagine that after finishing a demanding project, when you in what kind of the situation you feel most appreciated. So some kind of the project at work, a lot of probably effort invested in that kind of the project. And let's say that you would have four possibilities here, thinking, of course, from your own point of view. So maybe some of you, you're going to decide that after finishing a demanding project, the way how you would feel the most appreciated would be by hearing from another person, great job. Your work really mattered. Or maybe some of you, you would rather say, no, the first one, not necessarily. I guess that if my manager or client set it aside time to thank me personally, yeah, probably that's how I would feel really appreciated. I can also imagine that some of you, you would say, well, getting a small gift card or some benefit, yeah, that's how I would feel appreciated. Or maybe a simple high five, handshake, or pat on the back, it would be also something by what, that kind of the gesture, by which you would feel like really, really appreciated. So you can have some kind of the thought, some kind of the insights. It doesn't have to be, of course, about one thing, because usually if it is about those different languages of appreciation, it might occur that, of course, we have a combination. It doesn't have to be one. It can be a combination of two or three languages, or depending on the situation, depending on the need, of course, we can change it a little bit. So if you have that kind of the thought that maybe one of these languages would be the most appreciated by you, let's have a look at the languages. Of course, here you have four versions. And as I told you, generally, if it is about those languages of appreciation, we can list probably five of them. So let's have a look. What you can see here are those five languages of appreciation. I think that if we were to align it also with the language of love, you would find really something very similar. So the first type of the language is the language which is strictly connected with what we are going to hear from the other people, the words of affirmation, which means that if somebody is going to be grateful to us by saying to us that this person is like really highly appreciative to what we did, that this person is really grateful, that they are thanking us for something, they are mentioning, for example, what exactly they appreciate in what we did, that will be something what can be related to the words of affirmation. So when we're going to hear why, for what somebody is grateful, that's about our language of appreciation. So the words of affirmation. For some of us, and it will be related to the answers that you could see in the previous slide, the quality time. It's going to be something really, really important. So it could happen that, for example, my manager is going to come to me and tell me, oh, great job, like really wonderful, I really appreciate it. But at the same time, that person doesn't have time for me. So if it is about our individual meetings, if it is about the support received by my manager, I don't get much from that person. So probably even if I'm going to hear great job, well done, but at the same time, my manager doesn't have time for any kind of a discussion. So there is no quality time. I will not be really happy. Of course, some people still, they are okay because for them, the words of affirmation are very important. But for me, if quality time, it is really something really, really valuable to me. It means that, well, probably only words are not going to be enough. Um, Another language or another type of the language of appreciation are the acts of service. So if somebody is going to help me with something, if somebody is going to support me, if somebody is going, for example, to give me some kind of the advice how I can solve some kind of the problem, if somebody is going to do me a favor, probably then I will really feel, oh yes, this person really appreciates me. The example would be that I'm like really, really very busy. I have plenty of tasks on my plate, and generally it's difficult for me to manage everything. And let's say like one of my peers is going to see that and tell me, you know what, I can see that you have really a lot of fish to fry. So maybe I can just help you with something. Maybe I can do something for you because I don't have so many tasks. So I can just like execute, perform this report for you. And that will be appreciation because the person is going to dedicate their time. They're going to do some kind of the favor, and that will be something that I will also appreciate as their sign of appreciation. For some people, tangible gifts are important. So previously, when you saw that slide with the project, you could see that if I'm going to get some kind of the gift, if I'm going to get some kind of the bonus, if I'm going to get some kind of the benefit, it will be also the signal to me that yes, I am appreciated, because not only I got, for example, the handshake, but for example, my manager assigned me a bonus, like a generous one probably, or I got some additional benefit, maybe a day off. And it will be for me also some kind of the way how I want to be appreciated. For some people, the physical touch is going to be important. Of course, at work, I know it can be a little bit different because it's also about the culture, it's like professional environment. So I would rather say that if it is about that last one, it's rather typical if we talk about a romantic relationship. But still, for some of us, if we're going to get, let's say, this handshake, or if somebody is going to pat me on my shoulder, it can be also the gesture which is going to be highly appreciated by me. So I, for example, executed this project, and my manager, my leader is coming to me and for example, giving me a high five. And if that is something important to me, I will also say, okay, that's the sign for me that I am appreciated, for example, by my leader. Of course, again, here we have to be careful because that's the matter of the culture, business environment. So anyway, I would say that at work, we rather concentrate on those first four, and the fifth one will be rather connected with some kind of private relationship. But anyway, those are the five languages of appreciation. So you can detect what language or what languages are the most important for you to have that kind of internal feeling, yes, I am appreciated. And of course, those languages I'm mentioning, they are not created by me. Because if you think about psychologists and consultants, so Paul White, the psychologist, and Gary Chapman, you can find for sure their books. One is really about the languages of appreciation at the workplace, and the second one is dedicated to the romantic relationship. So I guess I would even say advice, or give you that kind of the advice to read those both, I guess, books, because they really can give you a lot of insight if it is about appreciation, if it is about gratitude, if it is about the way how we should even communicate with the other people to let them see that we appreciate them. And of course, if you liked what I mentioned, if it is about this power of appreciation, if it is about any other topic, I guess that you can, of course, follow us. If it is about the website, if it is about our YouTube channel, because you can find a really a lot of content dedicated, obviously, to business English, but also to business as it is. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm definitely also inviting you to follow our channels. Thank you very much.